Problem 6-115. Use the definition of a logarithm to change log base 2 of 7 into logarithmic expression of base 5. So let's start out here. Let's talk a little bit about the definition of a logarithm as it pertains to log base 2 of 7. So I'm going to copy this one down here. So we have log base 2 of 7. And let's say that's going to equal some value x. We'll just call it x for now. Remember, this is going to be what we call logarithmic form. This is logarithmic form for our function here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take it and I'm going to change it into exponential form. So when I take this here, let's think about it. My base is 2, so I'm going to have 2. And that would be like saying 2 to the power of x equals 7. So now that we've changed this from logarithmic form into exponential form, we can use our power property of logs to help change it here. So we can actually do change our base here. Let's see what happens. Let's look at, all right, if I wanted to take it, I'm going to apply the power property of logs. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. It's the power property of logarithms. Remember, that states here that if I take the log of each side, I say log of 2 to the power of x, it should end up equaling log of 7. Now, in the end, they're going to want us to change it to base 5. Right now, remember, this is like base 10. This is like base 10. You don't have to write it in there, but this is like base 10. This is that button on your calculator, the log button there. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I don't want to have that even in there. Just boop, boop. All right, so when we were taking this and solving this and we're applying the power property of logarithms, remember this x is going to end up being out in front, and we're going to have x is going to equal log, not equal, holy cow, get a grip. That's going to bother me. So here we go. We're going to have x times log of 2 equals the log of 7. Then you got to isolate it here. So in order to isolate our x, we're going to divide each side by that log of 2. And we have x is going to equal the log of 7 divided by the log of 2. Now, we haven't done what it's asked us to do yet. We haven't changed it to base 5. What I'm trying to do here is get you to see just the kind of the process. You should be used to doing this process with just the general log base 10 here that your calculator provides. In fact, let's even come up with a value here. Let's figure out what is that value. So let's go into our calculator. Let's quit out of whatever we're in. Let's clear out what we've got here. And let's do x is going to equal log of 7 over log of 2. So I'm going to do just log of 7 divided by the log of 2. And let's press enter here. So we get, it's about 2.807. So let's remember that number here. We're going to write it down. X is approximately 2.807. Okay, that was just when we were using the log base 10s. So I want you to see here, we'll set this calculator aside for just a moment, that because we took the log here on both sides, that was base 10, we did the same thing to both sides, so we ended up still with an answer, right? Just because if you do something to one side of an equation, you also have to do the same thing to the other side. Well, here now we're going to take it and we're going to do our, instead of log base 10, let's do log base 5 of our 2 to the power of x. So I decided to do log base 5 instead of log base 10. If we do that here, what do we have to do to the other side of the equation? Well, we're going to have to do log base 5 of the other side. And that's going to be of 7. Okay, let's apply the power property of logs. We've got our exponent up here, and that's our variable, so let's go ahead and move it out in front, and we're going to have x times the log base 5 of 2. I guess I don't really need those parentheses. I did them anyway, so. And then we're going to have, that should still equal log base 5 of 7. So when we take it here now, we would still divide by the log base 5 of 2. Divide this side by log base 5 of 2. Okay, so my question is now, what is the value of this going to be? What is log base 5 of 7 going to be? What is log base 5 of 2 going to be? Well, it should end up being 2.807. And let's get out our calculator here and just kind of check it. Nice thing about these new calculators is you can change the base. And we'll be talking about how to change the bases and things coming up. But right now, since you don't know how to do that, we'll just go ahead and use the shortcut here. We'll say alpha window, and let's go to the change of base here, number 5. So let's look at that. Let's say log base 5 of 7. And we're going to divide that by log base 5 of 2. So alpha window, number 5, and then we're going to put in of 2 here. You'll see that we should end up with about 2.807, just like we did on the other one there. And you'll see that we are correct there. So that's about 2.807. Now that's not the answer. They wanted us just to write it in as a logarithmic expression. So what we're looking at here is the expression that you're trying to come up with would be log base 5 of 7 over log base 5 of 2. That is exactly what our log base 2 of 7 should equal if we wrote it as log base 5. That is our answer. So if you have questions, please make sure you ask your teacher. This is probably a newer concept for you, and you haven't learned all the tricks and all the guidelines and everything here for logs, but you know a few of them there, so hopefully that makes sense. This is problem 6-115. Thanks for watching.